Now, Bill Henshaw again, constitutional coop from San Francisco. And this video, and I'll try to keep it brief, is going to cover a couple of related subjects, and that's the replacement of Joe Biden on the Democratic ticket, and the fact that it probably doesn't matter since we don't have any elections anywhere in sight. And that's a dead fact. And I can prove it. Send me an email, uwinningcourt@gmail.com, and we'll talk more about these subject matters. But if Biden gets replaced now, unless he gets very, very seriously ill or he just simply expires, uh, the latter case, you can make an argument for it. Well, with both of those cases, you can, because if he's physically unable to go forward, that's one thing. If they want to replace him because of his wonderful performance in last week's debate, that's another matter. What does that say about the value of all the primaries and caucuses and things leading up to him being named Democratic nominee if the party can pull him at their own pleasure and replace him with, say, Gavin Newsom from Sackler Tomato or Gretchen Schittmer from Lansing, Michigan? And whether they would have a chance to win, we don't know. But if they can do that, that really underscores the fact that there are no elections. There's no control over who even gets a nomination for president. But it's a lot worse than that because the only qualified electors in any states, like in California, are U.S. Citizens who reside in California. No, they don't. They reside in Washington, D.C., my former hometown. And the sovereign body politic here with the original Constitution, and you bet, 3 white male, 21 no apologies. That's the sovereign body politic, unless or until such time it is lawfully changed. And for those of you that think the 14th Amendment did, you have a lot to learn. So did I at one time, but I learned it and I want to teach you. Send me an email, uwinningcourt@gmail.com, because the sovereign body politic is not only specifically not mentioned in the Constitution of 1879, it is systematically excluded from all departments of government. Can you say the 4 magic words, which ain't due process of law? Ain't consent of the governed. Where is it? Nowhere in sight. And among other things, that's because no elections, and it's for the same reason, because all they recognize are these subordinate corporate dead entities as qualified electors, or even worse, in a sense, qualified members of a jury pool. If you're dead, how in effect can you decide any facts, let alone any law? It doesn't work that way. With members of the sovereign body politic, it does. We have full authority to do everything that we possibly can do, to keep our government, limited the way that it should be. So they can't run around like they've done for the last 150 odd years and do any damn thing they want to with presidential executive orders. Oh, a biggie on this one, by the way. Good old Joe Biden recently passed an executive order on the subject of voting. Since when does the commander in chief of the armed forces have anything to do with elections? Yeah, you might well ask. And maybe the best answer is that there are those that think, and I agree with them, that it all goes back to the Lieber Code of 1862 when Lincoln was in office. And we've been in a state of emergency ever since. So there are martial law military elections. And that's what Andrew Johnson tried to fix, our greatest president and last one lawfully in office, March 4th, 1869. There hasn't been one since, and there haven't been any lawful office holders until maybe 1872. I'll give them another 3 or 4 years on that one, but not much more because of who they are. If you're an artificial subordinate corporate dead entity, how can they even form quorums to do business in the House and Senate if you got nobody who's qualified to vote on the bills they try to enact? Can't work that way. And you start asking that kind of question to the current justices of the U.S. Supreme Court. That's what's going to make big differences because we can prove all of it. And as you'll learn, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. We almost always successfully do that with our unopposed pleadings in the trial court, aka administrative tribunal. So they never show up. And as you know, the local dumbass has this sworn duty, and I believe that people with landlords are like that, mortgage bankers, anybody that's saying those courts quote unquote have jurisdiction, they have the sworn duty to prove it, and they not only never do it, they never do it when we directly challenge it. Now, if you had a neutral magistrate in there instead of a black robe bastard, and that's what the Supreme Court says, by the way, neutral magistrate, Toomey v. Ohio, 273 U.S. 510, and we put in papers challenging jurisdiction, and they don't do jack shit. They get thrown out on the street, and the case might get dismissed with prejudice to the cause. You can't bring it again either. See you later. That's what should happen in a judicial court. And any of you have ever seen anything like that, I'd love to hear about it. I don't know of a single judicial court in place anywhere in the country, overtly. Now, we can do something with that behind the scenes. I've discussed that in some earlier videos that I've done today. They'll be up at the same time, and how we take over and do assert our will over these bastards. If we can do it, the Constitution says that. The original intent of those racist framers says we can do it, and our Creator endowed inalienable rights say we can do it. You put all that together, it's as simple as pie. But no one does, and no attorney in their right mind is going to do this. And by the way, I'm out there looking around for Jerome Daly. Anybody that that's an attorney that knows that name and is in favor of him, let me know. Send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. Because these attorneys are in on it. They're unregistered agents of the City of London, and they have an irreconcilable conflict of interest, because we're going to destroy their what I call malignant, malevolent monopoly on the practice of law, and good riddance. We get that judicial department of government back, we can make some real changes for you, your family, your posterity. That's how good this is. That's how great of a job the framers did. And no, it wasn't a perfect government. Everybody understands that. But we can go back to what we had and do it right and make changes that way to get even closer to a perfect government, if there is such a thing. But at least we'll have one that we're going to be in full control of. And there's a hell of a lot to be said for that. So, remember to send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. Subscribe, like the videos, get the word out. The quicker we act, the quicker we, get things done, and the sooner our freedom and liberty returns. Thank you.